Hey everybody, my name is Chris Lambert, and this is the Kanye West News Roundup for Monday, May 21st, 2018, presented by Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West, the #1 Kanye West podcast. I just wanted to let you all know real fast, we have our first 3 shirts available, so if you'd like to support us, if you'd like to have some cool, one-of-a-kind, unique Yeezus merch, or not Yeezus, but Kanye merch, we have a shirt influenced by Hold My Liquor and then 2 on Runaway. So all of those are available. And the Runaway shirts have a multitude of colors available, all on watchingthethrone.com. So enough of that. Let's get into the news. Where we left off last week was, where in the world is Kanye? There were reports that he was in South Carolina in Charleston on a yacht. But then we had Hudson Mohawk arriving in Jackson, Wyoming. So the question was, was Kanye still in South Carolina? Had he gone back to Wyoming? Who knows? It seems the question's been answered with a bunch of people having arrived in Wyoming over the weekend. Def Jam Executive VP and Head of AR, Pusha T's manager Steven Victor, and members of the Yeezy team were also in Wyoming. Mike Dean ended up in Wyoming. Again, for like the 1000th time. Chance, it turned out, was in Wyoming. Let's see how this goes. No, not gonna play. Okay. Chance was in Wyoming, and then last but not least, Kim was back in Wyoming showing off some awesome pictures. You can see why Kanye likes going there. So it looks like the album's back in the final pushes, especially for Pusha T's album coming out, this Friday. It's just 4 days away. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to throw on the headphones and can't wait to throw on these headphones and just listen. So that does it for the major news. Everything else is just kind of icing. Some little cool details. One, there's this Complex article, Edwin Ortiz, A$AP Rocky on Kanye turning a hotel into a Yeezy compound. So earlier in 2017, I think it was, Kanye was in Berlin, and there it is. Rocky was there too, and Rocky showed up specifically because Kanye was there. And it was a bunch of people. There were photos of Kanye, Dave Chappelle, Mos Def, and they just kind of, as Kanye's wont to do, rented a bunch of rooms in the hotel and were working on various projects. That was something he had done during Watch the Throne. It's something that I've heard stories of him doing at other points in time. So it happened in Berlin as well. And it seems like that had some influence on Rocky's new album, which is about to come out relatively soon. So pretty cool. Amber Rose on a Fox News story said that Trump is Kanye in a white man's body. So this is an article by Ryan Gatos, and Amber said, when I first seen Trump on the podium and just kind of like running for president, I was like, oh my god, that is Kanye in a white man's body. I really felt like they have the same personality, like completely the same personality. Rose34 said she thinks West appreciates the politics that Trump used in order to get into office, which is something Kanye said dozens of times, that it's not necessary. Well, and I don't think she's right there. It's not that he appreciated the politics, because Kanye didn't seem to know about the politics of it, but more the manner in which Trump campaigned. So not necessarily the political agenda, but the methodology. I would like to think that Kanye met with Trump and Trump said, look, I seen these people, I knew they were going to vote for me, and I used them to get elected, and I can't tell nobody that because I want to get a second term. But now that I'm in office, I really want to make a change. Now, Kanye can't snitch on him, he can't snitch on himself. So, maybe he's thinking of the greater good of what Trump can do for the country. Kind of a neutral piece. She seems to be taking it kind of easy on Kanye here. Not saying that he's just wrong or an idiot like how other people have, but saying maybe he knows something, which she hasn't always done. She's been kind of harsh towards Kanye at times. So if she's taking kind of a neutral stand here, that could carry some weight, but at the end of the day, we still don't know how much Amber really knows about present-day Kanye, or present-day Kanye's thoughts and feelings. Now this one's kind of cool. So Mimi Zeiger for Pinup Magazine got to do a preview of the Yeezy Studio in Calabasas, which I didn't know this was really a thing yet. I remember Kanye had tweeted out some photographs, but I didn't realize they were actually of his studio, which this is supposed to be the library, and there's no books on the shelves. So this is this whole interview where this Mimi got to go through the studio, and it's a 16-page spread in the newest pinup issue. A special collaboration, a lot of the first looks, and she went around with Willow Perron. Perron? I'm so sorry, Willow. Wilo? I'm so bad with names. But he's worked with a lot of people. If you go to his website, you can see he helped conceive for the 444 tour. He's worked with Nike. He helped Jay-Z create the design for the SNL tour. A lot of Jay-Z. David Blaine. I'm pretty sure he's worked with Rihanna, Tame Impala, St. Vincent, Yeezy Season 4. So dude's done a lot, and these Samsung pieces are insane. Kendrick, God, these photos are so good. Gotta try to get Willow on for a story, so it's just kind of a tour through this place and describing what it's like, kind of the notions that went into it, a lot of the aesthetic conversations behind it. So if you're interested in this, it's kind of right up my alley. You can get the latest edition via Pinup's website. And you can see, plus a special supplement in collaboration with Yeezy, photographed by Nicholas Cope, and with text by Mimi Zeiger. I'm kind of hoping, I'm going to Los Angeles in August to visit family, but some of my family's only 20 minutes away from here. So I'm kind of hoping maybe, number one Kanye podcast. Can I roll on through? Can I take some pictures? Can I interview some people? For the love of God, please. So I wanted to get into a few of Kanye's recent tweets. He had toned things down a little bit since the TMZ interview, which kind of all the performance art theories could be called into question, and the fact that ever since then it seems like he hasn't really attempted anything that was that divisive again, or that would seem in line with the performance art concepts or theories. But a few things. He's tweeted the slippers, the Yeezy slides, which were part of Yeezy Season 6 initially, I do believe, or even a single release. But it seems like we're getting a Season 7 version, or at least some with Season 7 branding. Then earlier today, Kanye tweeted that sometimes we all need hugs. And this woman who's famous, Amamata, for giving hugs to lots and lots and lots of people. I had tweeted about her. Yeah, and this person responded with a picture of some of the crowds that Amma brings. Like, that's a lot of people that come to see this woman and come to be hugged by this woman. She must be an astounding hugger. So Kanye getting back into aspects of love, caring for one another. She's somebody that's very forgiving and on that love beam. And then Kanye got into look at your phone, more break the simulation style stuff. Look at your phone as a tool, not an obligation. Would you walk around with a hammer in your pocket? You would pick up a hammer when you needed it. You would never be addicted or obligated to it. Use your phone like a hammer, only pick it up when you need it. And cell phone addiction, technology addiction is very much a problem these days. It's something that I myself struggle with, to the point where I no longer take my phone up to bed, because I would just lay in bed and read things for 2 to 3 hours sometimes. I'd get into bed at 1 in the morning and not fall asleep until 4 because I'm just sitting there staring at my screen. And that wasn't doing any good. And it seems what Kanye's said here, I think it's something that all of us can kind of cut down on our consumption of phones. But what he said seemed to strike some people the wrong way, where some were saying, you know, if you're a parent and you have a kid, you need to keep your phone on you because what if something goes wrong? So Kanye's wrong. And it's like, well, no, it's, as a parent, your phone is a tool. It's your hammer in that case. So of course you keep your phone on you in case of parental emergencies, but you treat the phone as a tool in that case. You don't need to be on it playing Farmville or whatever, Candy Crush. Do people still play Angry Birds? Is that a thing now? Just because you're a parent. Like, those things aren't part of using your phone as a tool. Those things are extraneous. So you wouldn't use your phone to do that, but you would keep it on you if you're a parent. If you're a 23-year-old trying to become a novelist, then throw your phone out the goddamn window. Like, don't use it. Unless part of it is like the hours that you spend on social media trying to develop your platform. In that case, it's a tool. But that was the argument some people were saying. Like, I use my phone for work, so what's Kanye expect me to do? That's your tool. Keep it on you. But if you don't need it for whatever you do, then don't be using it all the time. Don't sit there in traffic looking at your phone. Pay attention to the world around you. And I think that's good advice coming from Kanye. And then he talked about Googling dopamine, which is in line with being addicted to the phones, because dopamine usually trends towards a lot of the positive emotions we feel. We get a little bit of a flood of dopamine. So if I see somebody subscribe to this video, or to our channel, I get a little bit of dopamine. If I see somebody commented and it's a positive comment, I get dopamine. If I see somebody texted me, if I see a little notification on my phone, dopamine, 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 dopamine. And it can be as simple as just getting a notification. It can be as large as gambling, sex, overeating. Dopamine's tied to a lot of addictive behaviors because it's such a good feeling and because our brain sort of starts to crave it. So he's still on that line of thinking. And he concludes then with this reference of Century of the Self and consumerism, a 4-hour documentary. You'll get the gist in the first 20 minutes. Basically, Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, capitalized off of his uncle's philosophies and created modern-day consumerism. Before Edward Bernays, Americans purchased things based off needs. There was a time in the 20s when women didn't smoke in public, so Edward Bernays masterminded a campaign to make it culturally acceptable so that companies could sell more cigarettes. It's that kind of vibe. And one bit of, I think, people have jumped on is the before Edward Bernays, Americans purchased things based off needs. And it's not so much that people purchase things based on needs, it's just more that how things were marketed were based on needs. And also pre-industrialization, pre-globalization, there was less choice and it was harder to get things. So it's not like we had the amount of options that we have today where you can kind of buy more based on what you feel you want more so than what you think you need, which is why like, I have a skull right here. I don't need this, but it's a good reminder that death awaits. So I should be working hard because I'm gonna die one day. But that's not a need, right? That's something where I think to myself, oh, I want to be motivated in life and get things done. This skull will remind me of my mortality the same way that Steve Jobs looked in the mirror every day and thought about, what if I died? What if today was my last day? So I need to give everything I can to this day. There's lots of examples of people thinking about their own mortality as motivation for their high level of achievement. And because I buy into that idea, I'm purchasing things that might help motivate me in that way. That's not need. That's just more this attempted self-actualization. Where before, things like this weren't being made or readily available, and in 1905, you didn't have that kind of disposable income for most people. You're spending a nickel on groceries, and that's good. But it does get into the fact that marketing really changed from needs. Like, we're offering this because it's a need of life and like it's not frills, to advertisers shifting the conversation towards, you want this toothpaste because it'll make you more appealing to the other sex, and you'll get more dates, you'll even find romantic love and get married because you're using this toothpaste. And it positioned the toothpaste to align with this innate desire. And we see that with all sorts of marketing now. It's the standard for marketing. And this Century of the Self documentary explores that.
And aggressive forces hidden deep inside the
I actually am just
direct result of fighting. The stress of combat had merely triggered old Ben's government, but secretly. The CIA were instructed to organize a coup. Working with the United...
So it seems very dry. I'm just clicking on random parts of that. But if you don't want to watch the 4 hours, there's this Guardian article by Tim Adams that really gets into basically an overview of everything. As Kanye was saying, Bernays, who is the nephew of Freud, was the one that was born in America, or came to America, and popularized Freud by getting Freud published and being the guy behind all of that. And worked then for companies and governments and government presidents, doing all kinds of like shit based on Freud's theories that showed that you can appeal to the subconscious, to the self-esteem, rather than to the logical part of the brain, and people will respond. And it just gets into all of that, the rise of consumerism as we know it. Very Fight Clubby in the way that things went, and very Fight Clubby in the way that Kanye's talking recently. Like, consumerism is a big fabrication and a big lie that affects how we think of ourselves, how we go about our lives, and Kanye's still on that grind, that mental slave's way of looking at things that harkens back to New Slaves and harkens even further back to All Falls Down. It's something that Kanye seems to have been very interested in and very aware of ever since high school. So there's that. And we have just a couple more things. One is Kim saying, "Oh my God, we're laughing so hard. He has no clue." And it's just this old school video.
Right now. Right now.
Like, he has so much energy, but what? This dude Justin seemed to have a pretty good grasp on it. I believe I'm a god, I'm upside down, though I would have sworn it had said, I believe I'm a god, oh fuck, I won't back down. I'm off that goose right now. Maybe somebody else had that. But yeah, Kim liked it. And, shout out to Ray for being the one to get the attention of Kim and Kanye and make them laugh. Yanni and Laurel ain't got shit on this. So, yeah, nice. And that does it for this episode. And this is going to be the only episode this week, as I'm back home in Ohio visiting some friends and family. So I don't think I'll necessarily have time to record, though I'm bringing my laptop. Maybe I'll get to some videos. But we do have a new episode out, a beginner's guide to the life of Pablo. And it's Travis and I going through the narrative arc and thematics of the life of Pablo, first track to last track, exploring the major story, showing the evidence for it. So if you've ever wondered what the story of the life of Pablo is, and you don't want to listen to all of our individual episodes, this is the one to listen to. As with every episode we put out that's a narrative and lyrical deconstruction, this will completely change how you listen to the album and Kanye, I think, in general. So I hope you enjoy. And it might be available on iTunes now. Yeah, it's available on iTunes now. So give it a listen. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, as we're trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber threshold needed to monetize this channel. And if you want to follow the constant Kanye conversation that we have on Twitter, it's at Kanye Podcast. Thanks very much. Talk with you all soon.